everyone. My name is Sean Zenko. Today is September 28th, 2012, and this is my final for EDU 541. I'm here to speak to you about my field-based activity number 4. For my field-based activity, I chose to identify and apply research-based strategies that promote academic achievement and social development for students of poverty. I will then explain how the information that I gathered in this field-based activity might be helpful to you as an educator to treat students equal and treat them with respect to their cultural and family differences. In today's world, teachers may never even know that they have a student who comes from poverty. Some people hide it while others can't. But it's up to us as educators to know and learn how to adapt to them to make them feel as comfortable as possible. Considering the fact that most homes that experience poverty will suffer from it again, and that poverty will affect over 1/3 of Americans during their childhood, it comes as no surprise that the culprit in the lower academic achievement of America's youth is poverty. Numerous studies have shown childhood poverty to be highly correlated with poor performance in academics, lower IQ scores, and an increased risk of dropping out of school. In an article titled "Poverty's Effect on Childhood Academic Achievement," the author, Jones, states that poverty's effect on childhood academic achievement varies in relationship to age and length of time in poverty, parents' occupation and source of income, parents' educational attainment, cognitive stimulation, physical environment, neighbors' influence, physical well-being, and most importantly, parenting style. In another article titled "Teaching with Poverty in Mind," the author, Jensen, lists some factors of poverty. Behavior stems from a combination of genes and the environment. Behavioral genetics commonly claim that DNA accounts for 30 to 50% of our behaviors, and that leaves 50 to 70% explained by environment. Genes can go back to before students were even born. Factors like prenatal care, being exposed to toxins, and stress have a strong influence on the developing child. The environment has to do with the relationship the student has with parents or a primary caregiver. Socioeconomic status plays a big role too. Children that are raised in poverty rarely choose to behave differently, but they are faced daily with overwhelming challenges that affluent children never have to confront, and their brains have adapted to suboptimal conditions in ways that undermine good school performance. With poverty, children face both emotional and social instability. Typically, the weak or anxious attachments formed by infants in poverty become the basis for full-blown insecurity during the early childhood years. Very young children require healthy learning and exploration for optimal brain development. Unfortunately, in impoverished families, there tends to be a higher prevalence of such adverse factors as teen motherhood, depression, and inadequate health care, all of which lead to decreased sensitivity toward the infant, and later on, poor school performance and behavior on the child's part. Jensen lists 4 characteristics that he believes are the recipe for the future for students who come from poverty. Students need a strong, reliable primary caregiver who provides consistent and unconditional love, guidance, and support. They need a safe, predictable, and stable living environment. They need someone to spend 10 to 20 hours each week of harmonious and reciprocal interactions. This process, also known as attunement, is most crucial during the first 6 to 24 months of an infant's life and helps them develop a wider range of healthy emotions, including gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion. They need someone to provide them personalized enrichment, and they need to be involved in complex activities. For this field-based activity, I conducted an interview of 3 questions with my field-based educator, Miss Babish. The first question I asked her was, what are ways you can identify that a student lives in poverty without asking them personally? She replied by saying, the way they dress, what they bring for lunch, or if they have to receive free and reduced lunches, their general hygiene, their speech, and if they have learning difficulties. The next question I asked her was, if you have students that live in poverty, what are some of the steps you take to make sure they blend in with the other students in the class? She replied, response to intervention, a method of academic intervention used in the United States to provide early, systematic assistance to children who are having difficulty learning. RTI seeks to prevent academic failure through early intervention, frequent progress measurement, and increasingly intensive research-based instructional interventions for children who continue to have difficulty. It is believed that students who do not show a response to effective interventions are likely or more likely than students who respond to have a biologically based learning disabilities and to be in need of special education. Blended learning refers to a mixing of different learning environments. It combines traditional face-to-face classroom methods with computer-mediated activities. According to its components, the strategy creates a more integrated approach for both instructors and learners. Formerly, technology-based materials played a supporting role to face-to-face instruction. Through a blended learning approach, technology will be more important. And finally, the last question I asked Ms. Babish was, what programs are already in place within your school that promotes cohesiveness and collaboration within the student body? She replied by saying, GAP, Graduate Assistant Program, for students who drop out and try to get them to come back and receive their GED. Family Link, a service to bring families together by having events. SAP, also known as Student Achievement Program, for students who are having emotional issues with their family or friends, anything that is a barrier to learning. And lastly, Artreach. It's an enrichment program for PA Cyber students where they can experience a hands-on arts experience. To conclude this field-based activity, I come up with 3 goals that I will try to incorporate if I were to have a classroom. First, I want to build a bond or relationship with my students. Secondly, I would want to build a relationship with my students' parents and or guardians. And lastly, I would host student collaboration programs to help students build confidence and trust. I feel that it's important for me to have a special bond and relationship with my students because I'll be working with them on a day-to-day basis. I want them to know that they can come to me whenever they need something, not just school related, but they can come to me to talk to me about friends, family, or any other issues that they may have. I want them to know that I am more than just a teacher to them. I want to be able to have a friendship with them. I will have a 24-hour open door policy so that they know that they can come to me whenever they need me. I think it's also important to build a relationship with the students' parents and guardians as well, because I want them to be able to trust me with their students. They need to be able to trust that I will get the job done and educate their child. They need to trust me that I will take care of them and let nothing happen to them. They need to trust in me that I'm going to give it my all to make sure that I can help their child in any way, shape, or form. My last goal, hosting student collaboration programs to help students build confidence and trust, I think is something that students need more of. They need to be able to stand up and speak not only in front of me, but in front of their peers as well. I will have programs like speech and presentation classes. So when they get up in front of the class to present a report on something, they're not nervous. This will help them build communication skills, presentation skills. They will build more confidence within themselves, and they will build the trust from myself and the other students in the class. This concludes my field-based activity. This also concludes my field-based experience as a whole. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in and listening, and I'd also like to thank my field-based educator, Miss Jillian Babish, for allowing me to shadow her throughout the course of the past 8 weeks. Thank you.